Hey friend, my name is Jelena. I'm a Cambridge English exams tutor, and I'm here to talk to you about Cambridge English exams, namely B2, C1, and C2 exams. But not just that, we are going to talk about a lot of other things like learning in general and English in general, and how important it is, and how we can improve on it, which is the most important thing, and how we can use what we know, how we can turn our passive knowledge into our active knowledge, how we can memorize grammar and vocabulary and use it as soon as we learn it. Now, this first video is going to be about the C1 advanced exam, what it looks like, and basically the layout of it. So I'm going to share a file so that you see what the exam looks like. So this is the exam format. And this is what this C1 advanced exam looks like. Basically, there are four parts, four papers or parts of the exam. The thing is that B2 and C2 look very similar. There are just some slight differences, but all three exams, B2, C1, and C2, Cambridge English exams, look like this. There are four parts. There's reading and use of English. In this case, it lasts 1 hour and 30 minutes. In the B2 exam, you have 1 hour and 15 minutes for the reading and use of English, but you don't have this part cross text multiple matching, so that's why basically you have 15 minutes less. Then there's the writing paper. It takes 1 hour and 30 minutes. Paper 3 is listening, about 40 minutes, and paper 4 is speaking. It takes about 15 minutes. Okay, so the first part is called reading and use of English. Now, which part is reading and which part is use of English? Why is that important? It's important because when you when you do the exam and when you get a score, actually you receive 20% 20% of your score is the score that you achieve in the reading part. 20% of the score is the use of English part. Writing is 20% of the score, listening and speaking. So this means that reading and use of English actually is actually worth 40% of your total mark, the total grade. Now, the reading part is this: part 1, and then parts 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is the reading part. The use of English part is just this: open, close, word formation, and keyword transformations. That's why it is pretty important to do this use of English part well, because it's just 3 activities, but they're worth 20% of the exam. And you get just 28 points for these 3 together. And the keyword transformation is actually worth 12 points. So almost half of the use of English section. Now, what we need to know in order to do this use of English part well is basically grammar and vocabulary. Not just grammar, but also lexical grammar, such as phrasal verbs, such as phrases, expressions, idioms, collocations too. So could be anything, really, especially at level C1 and C2, it could be just anything. So the more you read, the more you listen, the more you work on your English, not just while preparing for the exam, but outside the classroom, the better. So multiple choice clause is part of the reading section, and these 4 big texts are, of course, part of the reading section. Now, there are strategies on how to do each of these, and we are going to talk about these one at a time later on. Now, paper 2 is writing. Now, between paper 1 and paper 2, you have a break in the exam. like a 15 to 20-minute break, and then you do paper two, which is writing. It takes 1 hour and 30 minutes. So you have, let's say, 45 minutes to write an essay and another 45 minutes to write an email or a letter, or you can, I don't know, it can take you an hour to write an essay, but then you will just have 30 minutes to write the second part. Now, the essay is the compulsory task, so you need to write this. Okay, so because this writing takes 20% of your exam, it means that the essay is 10% of the exam. So 1/10 of the exam, which is not little, and it is worth knowing how to write it, and it's not hard. There's like an overview of a framework that you can basically apply to 99% of the essay topics. So it's easy to do once you know how to do it. The second part, well, you have a choice. You can write an email or a letter, formal or informal, depending on the task, a report or a proposal, or a review. Now, you answer one question of your choosing. Now, you won't get all of these to choose one out of all of these, but you will get 3 options and you pick one. So you might get a report, an informal email, and a review, let's say. Okay, and then you pick one and you write that one. Okay, then you have another break, a 20-minute break. Then we move on to listening. Now, up to this point, you're going to be tired. So you need to, do your best to focus and to stay focused for the total of these 40 minutes, which is hard. So there are 4 parts. You will hear each of the listening tasks, each of the listening texts twice, and you do each of the tasks. Again, there are strategies for each one, and we'll work on each one separately. So each listening part focuses on a different listening skill. And I can tell you that the listening section, maybe it seems easy, but actually it is not. Just like the reading section, they're not easy. It's like you think, okay, I just need to read something and then I need to, I don't know, answer a question, but it's not like that. It really can be quite challenging. Okay, finally, you do the speaking section. It takes about 15 minutes. It's a short time, and during these 15 minutes, you need to show them what you can do. You need to show them that you are at C1 level, and we need to practice how to do that. You can do it, and it's easy to do it. You just need to know how. So there are 4 parts: interview, long term. This is the part with the pictures where you compare, contrast the pictures. Collaborative task. In this part, you talk to your partner. You need to ask each other for opinions, to collaborate. So you need to negotiate to find a solution for something. The examiner will ask you a question. And then there's discussion. In this part, you also answer you answer the examiner's questions. And again, you can talk to your partner in this task too. So basically you do these 2 tasks together with your partner, and you do these first 2 tasks alone. On your own. Okay, now whatever the partner does, it doesn't affect your grade, so you don't need to worry about your partner at all. You don't need to worry about that at all. Okay, there's some more information. You receive an individual score for each of the 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, speaking, and use of English. In the exam, each of the skills and use of English are equally weighed, as I told you, and your overall score is calculated by adding all the individual scores together and dividing by 5, and then rounding to the nearest whole number. So it's fine. If you, let's say, fail one of the parts, it's okay. We are just We just need to calculate the average score and it's fine. It's okay. So your grade and CEFR level are based on your performance across the whole test. There is no requirement to achieve a minimum score in each paper. I've just said that. And your average score must be higher than 60% in total in order to pass the exam. Okay, so not that hard, only 60% the average score. You can definitely do this. So if you are at level B2, let's say, now if you are at level B1 and you want to take the C1 advanced exam, it is really going to be difficult. Now, we cannot skip a whole level. You can try, but it's really, really hard and it never works out well. There are going to be huge gaps in your knowledge, and it can be a great disadvantage later on if you try to do that. So these levels overlap. So B1 and B2 overlap. B2 and C1 overlap a little bit, and then C1 and C2 overlap. So it's like a staircase, and you need to go one step at a time. We cannot, jump over a step. It's never a good solution. So if you are at level B1, just study. You need to cover the whole B2 level in order to take a C1 course and then study for this C1. Study for the C1 advanced exam and you need to cover basically all the grammar vocabulary that you need to take the exam, but you also need to learn how to think, what strategies to apply, what techniques you need for each part. So it's not just the knowledge, it's also about the way of thinking, critical thinking. In the speaking part, it's about how you need to organize your answer. In the writing part as well, like who you need to write to. You need to think about whether you need to write to a friend or whether you're writing to, I don't know, the college principal. So it's there are a lot of things to take into consideration, and people who, let's say, want to take the exam and then they say, okay, I want to do this in a month, then they really soon realize that they need more than that. But it is achievable. You can, if your level of English is really high, is already at C1 level, you can actually get ready for the exam in a very short time, a month or two. So it is possible. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, so that's it. If you want to contact me, feel free to write me on Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram. You can also send me an email, and all the links will be in the description. And I will talk to you soon, friends. Bye.